Hello and welcome to my channel. The intention for this card reading is whatever messages Spirit has for you. We're just going to do some brief messages and you can pick your card by intuition with your crystals. And I also have a intention candle. If that is not your thing, you can skip past that part. I'll leave timestamps in the description. Okay, pile number one's crystal is this honey calcite. Pile number two's is this indigo gabbro piece. And pile number three's piece is faux citrine, which, if you don't know, is amethyst that's been baked. I'll give you a moment to select your piles. Okay, and if you stuck around for the candle intention, this part is for you. If not, no worries. And I will be leaving it lit through all three piles. Place your intention into the image of this candle. Your intention might be that whatever messages Spirit has for you come up easily, bubble up from the depths of your mind, and that any internal wisdom that you have springs forth readily and easily to address whatever it is that Spirit wants you to know. Just take a few moments to breathe, to claim that stillness for yourself, and to know that this time is for you. Nobody wants anything from you at this time. Nobody needs anything from you at this time. Pile number one with the honey calcite. Your oracle card is Yeshe Tsogyal. Yeshe Tsogyal is the Lady of the Lotus Born. The embodiment is the deepest bliss. My body was made for enlightenment. And I'll read you the little short blurb for her card. And this is from the Divine Feminine Oracle. It can be so easy to forget that everything we touch, everything we say, and everything we do is not separate from the divine. Yeshe embodied one of the most potent spiritual truths. The female body is an asset to enlightenment, not a hindrance. The body is a vehicle to free us from the idea that there are any limitations to reality. Tantra, which weaves together the sacred and the mundane to reveal the spiritual nature of all things, allowed Yeshe to realize that she was both an ordinary woman and an incarnation of the Buddha Vajrayogini. We are both human and divine. We are both a mortal body and an eternal essence that continues on. The body, too often, can be a scapegoat for so much hate, distrust, and violence. The body holds infinite wisdom, pleasure, and possibilities. This is the moment to see your gorgeous body as the tremendous gift it is. It's the moment to realize that there is no greater intoxication than just being fully in your body head to toe. Okay, and if that resonated with you, this is the pile for you. And I read cards intuitively, so if you're like, hey, that card doesn't technically mean that, it means this, just know that that is the way that I read. So, let's see. Spirit, what does pile number one of the honey calcite need to know? What messages, Spirit, do you have for pile number, one's jumping. This one too. This is an influence card for this one. And these are 2 details that you need to keep in the back of your mind. I think there's one more. It's from another pile. Try to shuffle. Oh, this one's popping out. And this one too. I also don't read reversals. So we have the 7 of Cups, the 10 of Swords, influenced by the Wheel of Fortune. Things to keep on the mind, I have Ace of Pentacles, and I have the Knight of Wands. Supporting details of this aspect are the 3 of Swords and the 2 of Wands. Okay, Spirit tells me that you are faced... Sorry, it's my cat. Spirit tells me that you are faced between a moment of indecision and an impasse. And there's a lot of worry that if you make the wrong choice or say the wrong thing, you're going to seal your fate in a negative way. There's a fear of being trapped, perhaps from past memories or past experiences or past people that have tried to twist what you've said or lock you into a corner with promises that you didn't mean to make, and you feel a victim of the wheel of fate. But something to keep in mind is that there is always a new beginning, there is always a new day. Each dawn, each morning that you draw breath, each time you wake up and you see the sun, every single day, you are reborn for that day. You are new. And you don't need to live in the confines of how other people have tried to dictate your life, or even how you might have dictated your own life with obligations that weigh on your heart. Spirit wants you to know that every time you stand up in your own power each morning, every time you remind yourself of the newness of life of each dawn, you take the reins in your own life and nothing can stop you. But the trick is to not sabotage yourself and to not fall into negative self-talk. It's easy to tell ourselves negative stories when we've been used to doing that for a long time. Sometimes it can take a bit of push for us to reprogram our minds in a new supportive light, in a way that gives ourselves the helping hand. And sometimes it's not easy. When we get stuck in doing things a certain way, we get that muscle memory, almost. But it's not impossible to break through. You have a coming together of different converging ideas and thoughts. Maybe I'm trying to put the words to what I'm channeling. Sometimes you come home from work and you're sitting there and I have this to do, I should do this, I feel this way, I feel this way, these are my ideals, this is my dream, these are the expectations, and there's a different energy that comes from each of these places. I'm getting the sense that when you are able to stand up in the newness of the day and shrug off yesterday, shrug off yesteryear, shrug off yesterdecade, and say, I'm alive here, today, it is my time, this is my day. Sure, things may belong to others, time is shared with others, but in my first person experience of reality, this is my day, and it is forevermore. Those different converging thoughts that may feel like they're smacking you at the end of the day, those can either be dissipated entirely, which is a relief, or the common threads, the common points of action that you need to take come together in unity, and you're able to find what it is your part in this, what it is your actions to take. Ones specifically for you, not ones that other people have put on you. What it is in your hearts, what is in your deep gut, not up top of the chest anxiety, pressure from other people, but no, deep down low in your gut, knowing stability, this is what I am to do. The path that you were meant to take is not one entirely brand new. Perhaps it is a childhood dream. Perhaps it is an unfinished project that was abandoned some time ago. But whatever it is, whatever the details, it's something that in the back of your mind you have some familiarity with, and when you do take it up, it's going to feel like coming home. And you will no longer be stuck in this precipice, this tough decision, this I say the wrong thing and I'm doomed. No, that's all gone. Rise up, pile number 1. Stand in your own power, stand in your own authenticity. Know that each new day is just that, a brand new day. And if you want it to be, then it is your choice. You can be a brand new you each morning. You don't need to be dictated by decisions you made 3 seconds ago or yesteryear or other people have projected onto you. Those are not real. Those are just ideas people form in language and project onto other people. They might as well be myth if you want them to be. And I think you do. I think you want something new. Well, pile number 1, that is all I have for you. If this resonated, let me know in the comments. This is my first video ever, and I will get more comfortable and better at explaining and channeling and get some more practice. But I appreciate you sticking around, and let me know if this helped at all or gave you any insight. Bless be. Okay, pile number 2, you had the Indigo Gabbro. Let's see what your oracle card is. Ooh, you got White Buffalo Calf Woman. I really like her. Her mantra is, my heart is a compass. The path of love is true abundance. So let's see what her little message is. White Buffalo Calf Woman is a sacred reminder that we don't have to struggle to receive all that we've desired. When we join our heart's longing with action, we find that there's a sacred way to move through the world. This sacred way is a path of steady, quiet alignment between the heart's intention and our every step. White Buffalo Calf Woman is an omen of hope that all will be provided for us when we approach each situation with love. What she wants us to focus on is the intention behind an action, because that changes the outcome. She's a sacred prophetic sign that we can receive what we need without fighting for it or trying to secure it through manipulation. When prayer joins right action, when we move from that intention of creating only more love, then abundance is inevitable. And when we seek not just for ourselves, but also for the benefit of our loved ones and community, our needs are divinely met. The most sacred path is the one abundant with love. And this is from the Divine Feminine Oracle. Okay, set you right here. And just so you know, I do not read reversals. I believe that the cards have enough information in them to not need that. And I also read intuitively. So if a particular card that I channel a meaning for does not have the same ascribed meaning that you understand it to be, just know that that is because this is how I read. I feel like all these are yours, which is a lot. And I'm just going to turn them already. You got a lot of cards. Right? I'm getting the sense that These are all reminders, gentle directions, and affirmations for you. So let me go through what each of these cards are. This first one is the Seven of Cups. We have the Knight of Wands, Temperance, the Ten of Cups, and the Queen of Cups. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I don't know who needs to hear this, but the world, the universe, is not a universe of lack. Sometimes we feel viscerally in our body that all there is emptiness, lack, without, debt, negative balances. And as crazy and woo-woo as it might seem to say, those are all illusions. And they don't have to hold you down. Now, you can say, hey, Diametrica, I actually have a huge debt, and that is not an illusion, and people have been calling me and calling me and calling my place of work and harassing me. That is very, very real. I hear you. I understand. But Spirit is gently encouraging you to shift your frame of mind. And hey, let's say I'm wrong, the cards are wrong, Spirit's wrong. Let's say it's all wrong, but at least you feel better in this new shift of perspective. Maybe feeling better, even if you think it's delusion, maybe that's worth having a better quality of life experience. Maybe that's worth having a better mind. A refreshed, renewed sense of mind. Maybe it's worth it. And if thinking in that way gets you to try a new thought, a new train of thought, a new perspective, maybe give it a go. All right. Spirit is saying that you've been feeling kind of pulled between extremes or pressures in life outside of you. Maybe they're not as dramatic as some of the examples I listed, but you still feel kind of that tug. You don't really feel centered, you don't really feel grounded, you don't really feel balanced. There is encouragement from Spirit to try to look at the in-between things. Try to find a middle way. And if it's hard for you to do this as a reflective exercise with your thoughts, with your perspective, you can do it quite literally. Go outside, look up at the trees, and look at the space between the leaves, where the backdrop of the sky is. See if you see patterns or faces, or just admire the complex shapes. Try looking at in-between things. Pay attention to how you feel when you walk in from one room to another room. Sometimes doing these silly, simple, mindful activities help adjust our mind into following through and having more centered, open thoughts. And sometimes when we do that, different stressors on our mind are able to kind of freely come to our attention and then leave our attention. It's like, yes, that's a worry. Yep, you're there. I know that worry is there because it's trying to keep me safe. Thank you for doing your job. Okay, bye now. There is a lot of abundance in store for you. It won't come on the immediate horizon, but it'll come sooner than you know it. It'll be soon enough where I wouldn't be worried about anything. I think some of you are worried about something on a timetable, something that's time sensitive, or something that has to be done in a certain amount of time. What you need might come at the last minute, but if it does come at the last minute, it came on time, because it's what you need. I'm getting the sense that Spirit is asking you to trust in Spirit, trust in yourself and to know, like, hey, there's things in the past I have survived, I've gone through, I made it okay. I made it my bitch. Excuse my language, but you know what I mean. And that this thing that you're experiencing, you're going to get past it too. And it's not going to feel as bad as you think it is when you're on the other side. Be patient with yourself, be patient with spirit, and try to appreciate the small moments in your life. And if you don't have any small moments, make them. If you are a coffee drinker and you have a morning coffee ritual, try finding a quiet corner or space where you can have that, even if it's in your car. If you can sit in your car for 3-4 minutes before driving to work, or if you have kids and they're loud, if you can lock yourself in your bathroom for a few minutes and just give yourself that time. Maybe do a little skincare. Giving yourself small moments is going to be beneficial. And if the weather is decent where you live, I recommend taking off your shoes and touching your feet to earth. I'm getting the sense that it'll help you feel a lot more peaceful. And go somewhere where there's trees or flowers and just really smell the clean air. It's going to help relieve some of this anxiety that you might have been feeling. Alright, let's look at your other cards. Messages for pile number 2 of the Indigo Gabbro. 2 of Wands. A new beginning, a new journey with a bit of gusto behind it. There is hope. Feeling renewed in your emotions, having a sense of starting over in a relieving kind of way, in a fresh way. Doesn't have to be this big, heavy, cathartic moment where you need to start over and have the big turning point. No, you don't need that. You've had that before in the past, in former years. That's not needed anymore. Just have some awareness and just let your new beginnings come. Because they are coming. And you don't need to put any hard work to deserve it. You just have to be it. And the 2 of Pentacles, beautiful. In this particular deck, it's called the Lord of Harmonious Change. And I think that perfectly sums up what we've been talking about. Earthly matters to you are going to feel more stable. Sure, money involved, but it's not just that. It could be your home. It could be your vehicle or mode of transportation. It could even be, hey, I've been thinking about getting a new couch. I don't know if I really should, but I do it, and I feel like I have a sense of sanctuary, a sense of place. It's something small, maybe, for somebody else, but it expresses my style, and I feel like I have a place to really decompress and relax, and this is my space and my time. Alright. I am new to this channel, as you probably have seen, because this is the first video, but bear with me as I get more comfortable with filming. I hope any of this resonated with you. If it did, let me know in the comments, and I wish you the best. You have a lot of beauty coming into your life. Make sure you slow down enough to appreciate it. Thank you very much. Bye. Hello, Pile 3. If you chose the citrine, which yes, it's not a natural citrine, then this is for you. Let's see who your oracle card is. Miao Shan. I'm sorry, by the way, if I've mispronounced any of these. I do my best. The Princess of Mercy. Miao Shan is a Chinese legend version of Kuan Yin or Guan Yin. And then Guan Yin is, over time in legend, a version of originally the Hindu deity Avalokitesvara. Apologies if I am mispronouncing that. But the mantra for Miao Shan is giving is receiving. The energy of the universe is merciful. I love that. Okay, and I'll read you the message from Miao Shan. Again, apologies if I am mispronouncing that. Empathy is the most mysterious transaction that the human soul can have, and it's accessible to all of us. But we have to give ourselves the opportunity to identify, to plunge ourselves in a story where we see the world from the bottom up or through another's eyes or heart. Empathy is mercy's twin sister. When we can feel into the reality of someone else's suffering, we open up to the possibility of mercy. Mercy comes from the old Etruscan merc, which means exchange. Mercy is the embodiment of compassion. It can feel easy or even natural to have compassion for people who have never harmed us personally, but mercy is having compassion for someone who has. Mercy requires that we give something of ourselves, which is symbolized in Miao Shan's story, where she gives her eyes and arms to the king. It can feel, that is her I'll give you the brief. In her legend, there's different variations, of course, but the variation I'm familiar with is she is the daughter of a king. Her father wants her to marry somebody. She does not want to get married. She is sent to a nunnery, and her father, the king, tells the nuns to give her the most back-breaking, horrible chores, and she does it without complaining. She is then rescued, and then there's different versions. So some say it's a white tiger, some say it's a dragon, some say it's a Buddha. She is saved out of that situation and transported to a cave where she's able to live in peace. Her father, the king, falls ill and seeks all the land, different doctors, sages, medicine men, for a cure. Nobody has a cure, except one sage comes in and says that a medicine can be made, but it requires the eyes and arms of somebody who is completely innocent. Well, nobody knows who that is. And the king says, well, I don't know anybody like that. And the sage says, well, there is one, this hermit lady. She used to be a nun. She is the only pure being that I have heard of. I can send for her and see if she would be willing to send the sacrifice. And the king agrees, but has many doubts for who would be willing to give up their eyes and their arms. Word reaches where Miao Shan is staying in her cave, and she doesn't hesitate. She immediately says, yes, I will give them up. She lets her eyes and arms be removed, we shall say. And what happens next depends on the version, but the common version is she gains 1,000 eyes and 1,000 arms, like Avalokitesvara, which is a many-armed Hindu deity, and is restored basically 1,000-fold, becomes enlightened on the spot, and the king, of course, is healed, and everybody's happily ever after. There's many different versions of the story. I recommend looking it up. It is an interesting story. Obviously, it is painted by the gender stereotypes of the time period, and that is something to take in mind. But the overall message is there's an extreme situation, and somebody practices extreme compassion, and everybody wins, basically. Okay. It can feel like a great sacrifice to be so giving towards someone who is giving us nothing but suffering. Here's where the magic comes in. The law of the universe is merciful. The more we give, the more we receive. When the king realized the profound act of mercy his daughter bestowed on him, Miao Shan transformed into her true manifestation of the 1,000-armed Kuan Yin. Miao Shan is a reminder that giving is the true receiving. When we refuse to release our anger towards someone, we're blocking the flow of the universe within us. We are not harming the person who harmed us by remaining angry. We are keeping ourselves from receiving the love and light that is already ours. Okay. And as I stated in Pile 1 and Pile 2, I read intuitively and channel, so if the meanings I ascribe to the cards are not the meanings that you ascribe, that is a-okay. I just read in this particular way, and the way you like is still also right. This is just what works for me. And I can't remember if I mentioned it or not, but I do not read reversals. I believe that the deck has enough cards to say what it needs to say without the need of reversals. And that is all. Alright, let's see what your cards are. Okay, we have the Page of Swords, 7 of Pentacles, 3 of Wands, 10 of Wands, and the King of Pentacles. You have been wronged. Deeply. There's no getting around that. I feel called to tell you that forgiveness is not a very useful word in the English language. You hear all the time, oh, forgiveness is for you, not for them. Well, then why do we call it forgiveness? Because we say the phrase, I forgive you. I let you off the hook, you're fine, it's all good, water under the bridge. That's what we mean when we say I forgive you. So then why do we say that forgiveness is for you, not the other person? I think that that's where the English language sometimes is limited and not very useful. And I think a better phrase or a better word of advice for you is not that you have to forgive somebody, but that you need to release them from your mind and your heart. I think phrasing it that way is more helpful. It doesn't excuse the other person or person's behavior, but rather you're focusing on the you aspect of forgiveness. Somebody has deeply harmed you, and it was very wrong. And things aren't going to be exactly the same, or they haven't been if this was a while ago. And you may feel like your childhood innocence died after this experience or betrayal or hurt. And in some sense, yes, it did. But everybody's childishness, and I said that for a reason, must die, for we have to grow up someday. And I do not say that like you have to grow up, you have to get over how you feel about the situation. No. How you feel is completely justified. Anybody would feel the way you feel, and others might perhaps be even more angry than you are. And if they could feel how you feel, they would wonder why you aren't more furious than you are. And it seems like to a point you're kind of done. You've a little bit disassociated from your feelings on the matter, but it still hurts, which is completely natural. You're a human being, and you have every right to feel things and acknowledge how they process in your body and your mind and your heart. But I think there is some illusion that if this situation hadn't have happened, that you would have been able to have been the perfect, blissful child that you used to be before the situation. And that isn't the case. And again, that doesn't mean that what happened to you was okay or justified or good, because it was not. I make that very clear, it was not okay. But I think there's some reconciliation that needs to happen in your heart, where yes, things are completely different and it feels like a little bit of me is gone, or has died, or is not the same. But that doesn't mean the you today is dead. That doesn't mean that your hopes and dreams that you have now, that those are dead, that they're gone, because they're not. Yes, tragedy has befallen you, or perhaps betrayal, and it may have slowed you down for a while. And that's okay. It's important to slow down when we need to and process what's happened to us. But at the same time, it's important to learn what we need to about the situation we've experienced, which a lot of times is what not to do, or how not to treat other people, or how to be better towards somebody else, how to pay it forward in a different way, in the opposite way. But we don't have to be held back by these experiences. Let's see what the other two cards are. High Priestess and Ten of Cups. This is really beautiful. I'm gonna catch my breath because I'm feeling a lot of emotions right now. They might be ones you're feeling. It feels a little bit hard to breathe. My heart isn't beating fast, but it just feels heavier. And I'm kind of balancing. I kind of want to cry, but I can't. I've already cried enough. I want to be angry, and it burns in my face and my lungs, but also not fully because I'm tired of the situation. My feet are achy, my shoulders ache, I'm just weary. But we can shrug it off. And I don't mean that to take your situation lightly. Not at all. It's more like how a snake sheds its skin, and there's that dried husk left over, and it has to wiggle it off. It doesn't mean that its shedding process was something to be taken lightly. Oh no. But it is something that is undergone. Facts are facts. And we don't have to stay there. When the snake sheds its skin, it doesn't wear it like a loose coat. It finds something exfoliating, like a rock or a tree, and it gets it off. And sometimes, I don't know how to say this without it sounding silly. Sometimes we just need, like, a good, like, spiritual pumice stone to scrub us fresh and just, you know, like, splash some water in our face and just, you know, say, you know what? Yep, that happened. But I'm alive now. This is my life. And I'm taking the reins of my joy. Never postpone joy if it's in your power. Never postpone joy. It's your life, and you have a right to enjoy it. And I see that happening for you. There is some tendency to want to revisit the past because it hasn't been fully sorted out. There isn't full closure. You haven't fully coped with the matter, or people haven't gotten what's fair. And it can be kind of unsatisfying to move on from things that didn't end the right way. And it's just an unfortunate aspect of the human experience. And again, I'm not saying any of this to make light of what you've experienced, but more to call to attention that, you know, the yin-yang? There's light and dark in the light and the dark. Life is a mixture. And it's not good and bad. The yin-yang is not good mixed with bad or good mixed with evil. It's just different. A lot of westernized coatings on symbolism have obscured some of their true meanings. But the yin-yang is not good and evil. It's just difference. It's yin and yang, light and shadow, the internal, the external, the creation, the outward action, the internal gestation, reflection, sleep, restoration, and the outward motion, goals, going, stride, the sun. And life is very much this mixture, this big soup, if you will. And treachery, betrayal, and heartbreak is sometimes part of our human experience. But it doesn't have to define how we experience today. It doesn't have to limit today, and it doesn't have to narrow the scope of joy that we are capable of experiencing. And I think if you're able to release this prior situation, let go of that grip on your mind and your heart, which is not always easy, but it's not really about striving or effort. It's more about mentally making that decision, having that awareness, giving yourself permission to not always have the closure. Giving yourself permission to say, hey, you know what? I didn't get the closure that I wanted or needed, and I'm gonna release that. I'm gonna release that grip on what I truly did deserve. And it is sad, but it doesn't have to stay sad. I think there's a call to be compassionate on yourself and know that it's possible that the situation might not have been able to turn out any differently than it did, but that doesn't affect your goodness, because I feel you have such a strong heart and you want to do everything in your power to make and give a peaceful environment to the people that you love, because you know what it's like to not have that experience, to not feel peace, to feel distress. But you are humanity. You are people. You are someone to extend compassion to. Spirit is saying that it is high time to love on yourself, to go easy on yourself, to release that grip. And again, moving on doesn't have to feel like this big cathartic event. Moving on can be as simple as, yep, that happened. I did what I could with what I had. And here I am. I'm right here, but it's a new day. It's a new dawn. And you know the rest. I would listen to that Nina Simone song if you like her music. I hope that was encouraging to you. Sometimes these complex situations and feelings can be hard to use language to encapsulate. But you do have abundant joy. The Ten of Cups is complete satisfaction. This version of tarot calls it the Lord of Perfected Success. And that really is, in the cards, for you, perfected success. But you have to be willing to release that grip, that tension of the past from your heart and your mind, to be able to be present enough to notice it and enjoy it. And it doesn't have to be hard. I can't stress that enough. It doesn't have to be hard to make that change. Being aware is literally all you need. That's it. Just, I'm aware of this. And receive. Over and over again. Aware. Yes. Aware. Receive. I wish you all the best. I hope this resonated with you. If it did, please let me know in the comments. Again, this is my first video, so I'm sorry if I'm a little bit clunky at recording. I hope this served you well, and bless be.